Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to do a little bit of Cupcake colouring with, well, a lot of Cupcake colouring. I've been seeing a lot of people do sort of rainbow colouring, and then there's a guy on Instagram, which I'll put his link below, who has done a lot of rainbow colouring, and he's done this sort of cloud thing around it. So I thought I would give it a little bit of a go. It still needs work. I'm going to be very honest. I'm not completely thrilled with it, but I like how it turned out. Don't get me wrong. I like how it turned out. It just has room for improvement. That's all. We're going to be using a paper rose stamp set called Hey Cupcake. Its code and everything will be over on my blog. We're going to do a little bit of masking. So I'm just stamping out the first three that I wanted to be in the front. So we're going to stamp those out first, and then whatever you want behind, you stamp that out second. We've just got some full stick post-it notes here. Here in Australia, it's probably the easiest thing to work with, easiest thing to find. I have other sort of masking. I do have the Gina K. What's it called? The Gina K masking magic. Yes. I find that sort of quite slippery, which is not too bad. I haven't tried it with this sort of thing yet. So I've cut all my mask off camera, just to save a little bit of time, because the coping colouring is going to take us quite a while to get through. As I said, it still needs some work. It doesn't have the depth that I normally like, but I think I have to let that go because we're doing the coping colouring. But maybe I just need to do more practice on it, and that's the key. I'm not amazing at this. I'm just practice. I just practice. That's pretty much it. I did have to stamp the cupcakes. I had to stamp all of them twice, but in particular the ones at the back, I didn't put quite enough pressure, and you usually have a little bit of a gap, so I'm just using a Cupcake multi-liner for that to fill in my hole. With a pencil, I'm just doing a very rough cloud sort of thing. And you do have to be a little bit careful where you put the pencil, because if you go over it, or how dark it is, if you go over it with the Cupcake marker, you won't be able to remove that. I'm just sort of mapping out here. I'm a little bit off camera, sorry. Sort of roughly where I want my colours to finish up and blend into the next one. It's not amazeballs, like I'm not going to stick to it very rigidly because I want it to flow. It's still with the red we get this little bit of a line. So this is all new territory for me, but I thought I'd take you along. Don't put your colouring, your shading for your cupcake thing there, because that does not make any sense whatsoever, and I do realize that later on. So with our reds, we're going to use, in the end, because I bring in a couple more from the ones I've just shown you, are 89, 29, 27 and 24. You just have to be a little bit careful with your red, just to make sure it stays within the lines, because it can be really, really hard to get it up. This is where I've realized my problem, and I'm trying to fix it, that I've put my shadows in the wrong spot, because where in the picture where you have the top of sort of like a fence sort of thing, but the cupcake, that's where it's indented into the cupcake, so that's where it's going to be a little bit darker. Yellows, I've had to speed this up, so I'm going to make sure I write down all my Cupcake colors and everything I've used over on my blog. So you can go over there and that will have the full range, because as I said, I have brought in a few other ones. We're going into our orangey sort of colour, which is YR18, YR16, YR12 and Y19. So I'm using a little bit of red and I still end up with a bit of a line, but I'm using a little bit of red just to make the shadow sort of come out a little bit more. So yeah, there's a lot of colouring with this little one, but I mean, I do like how it turned out. It's cool, it's fun. I just need a bit more practice with it, and that's the aim. The people that have amazing colouring is the ones that have used it and try and practice. Okay, so that's the key. That's, if you don't get anything more from this video, then that's the thing that I want you to take away, is that you have to keep practicing. You have to you can start with getting inspiration from other people, but your creativity is going to flow on later. So don't say that, you know, you're not creative enough, you don't color combos. Just, you start off with, you practice with someone else's color combo and make it your own later on. Change it around to the way you like to do things. So we're slowly working our way into our yellows. I'm going to come back to all those little dots and sprinkly bits and everything else very soon. I don't really know what I'm going to tell you about today while we sit and colour, because it's just sort of working our way through. I'm just going to tidy up a couple of bits and pieces, trying to bring some highlight in there with my zero. Trying to find quiet times in this house with all the Christmas holidays and the kids are at home. I mean, my boys are older, so it's not as if they, you know, they're tech guys care of their father. It's just what they are. They're teenagers and they want their technology, and their father is a computery person as well. So what the problem is, I found, is people running down the stairs and calling out when they want me and things. So we're trying to sneak a little bit of a voiceover in tonight or today. While a couple of people are out, kids are all upstairs. So if I suddenly go off topic, it's usually because someone's interrupted me and I've forgotten where I'm up to. So we're still working. I struggled a little bit with this orange and trying to get the orange into the yellow. It's looking very yellow, but it does look a bit more orange than what it's coming up there. So our yellows that we're ending up working with are going to be Y06 and Y04. I do think I blend in some other colours in there. Our greens are YG09, YG07, 05 and YG01. I like this combo. It's a pretty straightforward combination, but I really think it's just soft. I think it's a pretty soft little colour. So I'll come back to my little banner in a minute and blend him in with the yellow. I said, I'm definitely not perfect with all this, but we'll work through it, and I quite enjoy, if you don't know me, colouring is my thing. I like to sit and colour. I don't always get to do it, but I like to sit and colour. And when you like to sit and colour, it usually means that these things take a bit longer. they're a little bit more in depth because you get lost. I think you get lost in the colouring, that you suddenly sort of go, I need to stop that because I'm never going to be able to reduce this down enough. Honestly. So this colouring is sped up to be like 5 times my normal speed. But that sort of brings it down to a half decent watching time. So hopefully you guys like it, but it's pretty hard to sort of get some colouring in and keep it down. So our blues, we have B18, B05 and B02. Now I think I had to play around a little bit again with the violets and the blues. I had to try and make sure that it gave a bit, because I think I got carried away. My markings weren't that great, and I think I went overboard with some of my other colours. So we had to squish a bit of blue and squish a bit of, so a yellow and a green is quite a fair bit. So squish a bit of blue, squish a bit of violet in there. But I like how it turns out. It's not too bad. I think the green is probably the one that's mostly gotten carried away. But it doesn't matter. You've clicked on this video for one reason or another, so as long as it is fulfilling what you want, that's all good. Violets are BV08, BV04 and 02. Now, I've seen a lot of either this cloudy sort of look or this sort of rain, water, splattered sort of thing, which is rather cool. So I'm going to, the cloud sort of look is going to be just the cupcake sitting on a bench. We're going to keep it easy for the first time that I've done this. And I'm not too worried about, I mean, you can see a little bit of my cloud technique, my cloud sort of background, but most of it on the whole is really, really light. So when I get up to, yeah, see, we've rubbed it out a little bit now, so as we're getting a bit closer to it. I still have a problem with my CO5. I don't know, no matter what I do, I keep filling it up. I think something's happened with my lid, that it keeps drying my marker out or something. I don't know what's going on. And when I get up to my, I also struggled with the top, okay? And so when I get up to the sky, we'll just call it sky, because it's a bluey green. One of my Cupcakes is running out, and at that time I did not have a re-inker for it. I've since been able to re-ink it with a friend's re-inker, so it's all good now, but that didn't really help me in the long run. In the short terms, I should say. Now, I've gone back through and I've rubbed off my colouring. I'm just going, like where I was going to put my colours, my red, my orange, my yellow, all that sort of stuff. We're going through and bringing that lower bit down. I just thought it was a little bit too unbalanced. So as you just saw, I've just gone through and rubbed out most of my line. We'll just put that back in with some Cupcake, and I'm going to cut some of this short, mostly because I had to struggle with it a little bit, because I think it's BG10 was really running out, and then I brought in some other colors because I wasn't particularly happy. So we've got BG13, BG01, BG10 and BG000. So this card is for Leslie from Little Bits. Her information will be linked below. Please, if you have not already, like and subscribe this video. It helps the little channel to grow. I've only been doing this for a bit more than a year, so, and I'm extremely grateful for the people that have subscribed to me. But yeah, and hit the little bell icon and that will let you be notified. I'm just using a sentiment out of the same stamp set called Hey Sweetie, using some VersaFine, and that's going to be pretty much it. We're going to dry that off, and then I'm going to come through with a little bit of Winker Stella. I thought about afterwards that I might put some little clear drops or some little sequins or a little bit of bling, but at the moment I'm just going to go through the Winker Stella. Thank you.